Welcome back to Neighborhood Journal, Hudson News Edition. Hoboken elects a mayor and 3 at-large council persons on Tuesday. Joining me now is 4th Ward Councilman and mayoral candidate Tim Occhipinti. Councilman, thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me here today, Jeff.
I want to ask you 4 questions. You will have a minute to answer each question before I move on to the next question. So the first question concerns a rent control referendum issue which is on the ballot. The measure would remove rent control on 1 to 4 family apartments as well as condos when a tenant voluntarily decides to move out. Do you support that measure?
I do. I will be voting yes on this question on November 5th. I do believe that our property owners have a right for a fair and marketable return on their investment, and that government shouldn't put affordable housing on the backs of property owners. Government should be in the business of building affordable housing. Now, my administration is going to have a zero tolerance policy so that no unscrupulous landlords can intimidate or coerce any tenants from moving. We're going to make sure that we have a tenant advocate attorney for the city that tenants can come to if they feel that they're being intimidated or their rights are being violated. We will stand up to any landlords looking to pressure any tenants to move out of their units.
Okay, the second question concerns small businesses, many of whom have been hurting since Hurricane Sandy a year ago. Some are still struggling, and if you're elected mayor, what would you do to try to help them get back on their feet?
Parking, parking, and parking. We have significant challenges that Mayor Zimmer has not addressed in her 4.5 years in office. We're going to revise the current parking laws so it's more business friendly, welcomes visitors to our town that are not going to be fearful of a ticket or a boot. We want to make sure that they come and spend money in our local economy. We want to use parking revenues from the city's parking utility to create more parking in the city by building municipal garages on land that we already own that is not maximizing its potential, so that we can get more money for the city and create more parking, get more people to park in there and ease that supply and demand burden we have in the city. There's 25,000 residential parking passes and only 16,000 on-street spaces. So we think that that's really going to help our local businesses.
Okay, the third issue is probably one of the biggest issues in the city. It concerns the issue of flooding. If you're elected mayor, what is the plan that you have to try and prevent severe flooding in the city, not just in times of hurricanes?
Well, Mayor Zimmerman came into an office with a $25 million budget surplus. She could have used that money to fix this flooding problem many years ago, but hadn't. What we're going to do now is go out and get the funding from the state for 3 more additional pumping stations. It's a $27 million project. It is shovel ready. We'll fund it through low interest loans. This way, in 18 months, we can have these 3 additional pumping stations with the one currently down on Observer Highway to make sure that the water is pumped back out of the city and into the river. But we also have to look at green infrastructure and make sure that any new parks that we have underground water retention basins to hold water, and that'll also help ease the burden of flooding in the city as well. But first and foremost is getting these pumps built here in Hoboken.
Okay, and lastly, in addition to the rent control referendum, there are also 3 at-large council seats that people will be voting on, as well as mayor. Why are the 3 people you have as your running mates best suited to help lead the city?
Well, our message is one Hoboken. We want to end this political divide and this toxic culture that has become in Hoboken. And that's why we have 2 candidates that were born and raised in Hoboken, myself and Britney Montgomery-Cook, who did not grow up in Hoboken. So we want to unify the city. Frank Raia is the chairman of the North Hudson Sewage Authority. He's going to help us tackle this flooding issue. He comes with a mountain of experience that's going to help this administration. Peter Biancammano, he's the son of a small business owner in Hoboken on Washington Street. He knows the pulse of that community. He's going to be able to help them, and he's also going to be able to make sure that we only spend money on what is needed for the city, reinvesting in our infrastructure. And Britney Montgomery-Cook is a special education teacher, so she's going to have the insight into helping, from the city's point of view, our local school districts, because right now they're not getting the job done.
Okay, Councilman, those are all the questions I have for you. Thank you for being here. Good luck on election night on Tuesday. Again, I appreciate you taking the time to be with me.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.
And tomorrow I'll speak with the final candidate for mayor in Hoboken, incumbent Dawn Zimmer. And we'll be back with more news right after this. Please stay with us.